Welcome back to Post Time. On a couple of our prestigious nights at Harrington Raceway, we've had fun rolling out the red carpet and adding some glitz and glitter. One of those special touches that's gotten rave reviews is bringing in James Witherite for those festive evenings. James, you have been just brilliant and so fan-friendly when you've been here on the big nights. So we're going to start the beginning as far as you being a musician. Can you tell me how long you've been playing and how many instruments you play?
Oh my, it's been, I don't know, a quarter of a century since I first sat down at my grandmother's Wurlitzer organ, picked up the trumpet at 8. I was in 3rd grade, so I've been playing trumpet about 20 years. Main instrument, though, believe it or not, is something that's gone by the wayside in the greater scheme of things, the Hammond Organ. But the trumpet's a lot easier to carry than the Hammond Organ whenever going to a job. So thankfully they don't have me play the call to the post and that have to lug in a 400-pound piece of equipment, a Leslie speaker, the whole nine. This is a lot more convenient.
Now, you're in a band as well, is that correct? And you make, well, back in my day, they used to call them records. Now, I think they're CDs. Is that correct?
Yeah, but we still call them records. I've got a trio in Pittsburgh with jazz guitarist Ken Karsh, who is absolutely phenomenal. And we were just in the studio a couple weeks ago recording some new music.
What kind of music is that? It's jazz, all jazz?
All jazz, but jazz is this, you've got this spectrum of music from the mellow, easy listening side of things to the more aggressive, groove-based music, and we're more on the aggressive side, so it's not music to have dinner by, shall we say.
Well, maybe not most people, but I like to jam out when I'm eating my veggies, you know? So, now, you're here, you know, at Harrington and adding spice to things, but this is not your first rodeo when it comes to being at a racetrack. You are an announcer, correct?
Right. About 8 years I was at Harrah's Philadelphia, we still call it Chester behind the scenes, for the last 7 years, and then this year I made a pretty big move up I-81. I'm now at Tioga Downs, doing a little bit at Vernon Downs at the beginning and end of the season, but so far upstate New York has been a very, very kind move.
How do you get from playing the organ with your grandmother to being an announcer?
You can thank Full Card Simulcasting, the Meadows Racing Network on cable for that, and a lot of weekend nights at the racetrack in college.
So you didn't have family involved in the business or anything like that? You're a fan?
I'm absolutely first generation. Started as a member of the wagering public, and it went from there.
We're gonna find out what your favorite race call is. There might be a couple. I won't make you do one if you don't have one, but my favorite is a Buckeye St. Pat, and I think she won the Maxie Lee.
Coming off the far turn, Southern Rockets up, and Farrah are heads apart. Buckeye St. Pat is poised to pounce from the pocket, and she's got room to split rivals at the 8th pole. Here comes Buckeye St. Pat, taking over from Southern Rockets up. Farrah all out. Big Boy Lloyd off cover, but it's Buckeye St. Pat, a mare for the ages in the Maxie Lee. Her second win in the lead, she drew off by 4.
That's one of them. That's actually one of my 2 favorites. I think, what did I refer to her as? Buckeye St. Pat, a mare for the ages,
yeah.
was the call. Hopefully her sons and daughters, as they come onto the racetrack, live on with her legacy. My other favorite race call of mine would have to be the cane pace this year with Lion Somewhere holding off He's Watching. If the race were 70 yards longer, He's Watching would have gotten there, but Lion Somewhere was gritty as all get out, holding off Luck Be With You through a 53-3 first half mile, and then still holding sway to defeat He's Watching in the final stride. So what a race that was. 53-3, a taxing half mile, and Lion Somewhere just turned aside a second challenge from Luck Be With You. 3/4 won, 21-3. Lion Somewhere hits head stretch with a 3-length lead. He's Watching, is chasing valiantly down the grandstand side. Jake Hanvanera just won paced. Lion Somewhere 70 yards from Holmes holding clear. Lion Somewhere upsets in the cane. Good races make good calls, and that just happened to be the case there, I feel.
Also, talking about announcing, you mentioned your parimutuel tracks, but you've actually announced all over the place, haven't you?
Fairs in Michigan, Beulah Park in Columbus when it was still up and running, a couple days at Philadelphia Park filling in for Keith Jones over the years. A lot of miles on the car, Heather.
I love talking with someone that's first generation because you're a true fan. So what do you love about harness racing? I mean, what attracts you to this sport? I mean, I know this interview isn't about me, but for me, it's always the horses. It's the majestic horses, but that's my gig, you know what I mean? What do you love about the sport?
For me, that came later, and I absolutely do love the majesty of the equine, but for me, it started with the fact that each race is a puzzle. Who is most likely to do what in the race? How is that going to affect the outcome of certain horses? Who is best equipped to win any given race, given the strengths and weaknesses of each horse involved? And having to figure that out sometimes 13, 14 times a night, the puzzle aspect of it has always been very appealing to me.
You've been fabulous. Thank you so much for being on the show. This has just been a joy for me.
Heather, it's a pleasure.